Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Welcome, guys. Happy Friday. The coins are green. It's a pretty good send off into your weekend. Hopefully, we can contribute to that as well. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max, Tucker, and Louie. Tuesday, although it is Friday, we're also joined by Chef Jackus. Welcome, Jackus. Hope you've all had a fantastic week, not just the audience, but of course the panel as well. It's been an entertaining week, right? It started over last weekend. We initiated the pump on Bitcoin. We are continuing to squeeze, as we can see today. And of course, equity markets providing a bit of a mixed reaction. We're going to talk about everything to dissect, of course, this week and what it means for the coming weeks on this show. But before we can do that, guys, before we can start cooking and sharing all of that big juicy alpha before you don't see us again until Monday, we're going to ask you guys to smash that like button. You guys crushed the first 2 days of the week. The last two, you were good, but it can definitely be better. So I'm going to ask you guys to really up your game, finish out this week with us on a high note. Let's get after it. But without further ado, let's get into the market, guys, right? We are seeing a pump on Bitcoin this morning on the coins. And most notably, you have to point out the strength that we're seeing in Solana, right? It's up almost 6% on the day. Definitely something that you want to see continue, and something that we've talked about being one of the signals that we want to see to truly confirm that, the bull market is back, or really that the next leg of the bull market is confirmed and here. Of course, we are getting a bit of a lag from ETH, and if it wouldn't be a show if I didn't FUD ETH to some degree, but I had to point that out. ETH is once again lagging SOL, which some might argue is actually a bullish thing. I might even argue that that's kind of more bullish than not. That Solana is indeed, not lagging ETH, but in fact leading it, of course, as well. But yeah, altcoins across the board seem to be green as well. I think equity markets probably bounce here into the end of the week. It makes sense that we see volatility and the VIX come down into Friday's close. And I think that will, of course, lift assets like NVIDIA, probably Apple, some of these stocks that have been the primary, well, less so Apple, more so NVIDIA and semiconductors, right? Those have been kind of what have been weighing down the indices over the course of this week. So I do think those will get some relief here into Friday close. That probably does mean that crypto will continue pumping higher intraday. But welcome, guys. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. It has been a very eventful one so far, and I think it sets a very interesting stage, I think, for both equities and crypto over the coming weeks, right? Because we kind of have a bit of a differing setups in both of those markets, but no shortage of things to talk about, certainly. But yeah, let's talk about markets, guys. Let's send off the viewers happy into their weekends, and I'd love to know what y'all are seeing in the markets.
Here's what I'm seeing in the market right here. I think there's a chance that we're right here for SOL. I think SOL has been sort of your risk on signal all cycle. When it pumps, the market is usually feeling a little bit frothy, and it kind of translates over into risk rallying and things moving further down that risk curve. That's how it's been more or less all cycle. The hope is that this is just one giant bull flag, similar to what we saw kind of Q2 of 2021, which I have circled right here. This is expert analysis style TA. You can't teach this kind of stuff, these giant arrows. You have to be born with that ability. But yeah, I think there's a chance that we're somewhere right in here, and you're about to see the mania commence. Now, of course, getting super bullish at what is clear sort of diagonal resistance usually isn't the smartest thing in the world to do. But resistance was made to be basically pushed through with a battering ram. So the hope is that, now this would be the fourth tap on this diagonal line. Perhaps it's time to break through, maybe a little bit more chop, chop, chop. But I think if we can get SOL to break out here, probably above like 180, I would really say, like, what I'm going to want to see with SOL here, if this is a giant bull flag, is I'll really want to see like this level get flipped right here, like this region. doesn't necessarily need to be this high as of right now, but I would love to see this area. So exact level would be, let's just say about 175. We'll round it up a little bit. I'd like to see that level get flipped. Similarly to, this potential comparison when alt season really started, it's like, I mean, I would say probably like right above here when you got above here, like it just kind of sent, after, I mean, this was, how many days was this? I mean, this had to be at least 3 months, right? Yeah, it was like 4 months about. So after about 4 months again of chop solidation and ranging, it's about that time. Like it is about that time where we should be sending. Otherwise, I think the bearish case for this being a prolonged, drawn out distribution only strengthens. Like we have spent enough time here where it's super bullish if we break out. But if we can't break out, then again, you're just wasting time to waste time and you're about to get smoked. So like it's time. Like and I've been saying this for a while. I am completely astonished. I am genuinely astonished that we are still ranging and chopping here. Like it has been exhausting. My job is to talk about markets basically like 8 hours a day. That's my job. And I have had to narrate every day's price action for the past 4 months of, I mean, honestly, for lack of a better word, bullshit price action. It's made my job extremely difficult. The truth of the matter is there is only so long that we can range before it gets bearish. Okay. It is time. There is no more time to waste. It is here. Within 2 weeks, we're going to know. Okay. It's going to be, we need a strong monthly close. And if we get a strong monthly close, send it in August, bears are invalidated. Okay. But it is now, we can't range for another month. I do not think that's on the table. I think if you range for another month, it's bearish. This is it. You got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Okay. This is it. This is it. We need SOL to break out. We need ETH to follow. We need Bitcoin above 70, probably 75K in price discovery. And then you get this. If that happens, then you get this. Then you get alt season. Then you get all of your favorite L1s and all your favorite L1 betas sending for the next 3 or 4 months. But again, you don't have the luxury, in my humble opinion, of wasting any more time. You just don't. I don't have any fractals that I've studied that suggest that you can range for 6 months and it's still bullish. You get about 4 to 4.5 months, and then you got to send it. Otherwise, it's distributive. So, anyways, there could be a first for everything, but like, let's go, boys. Like, let's fire up the Bidzuka. It is time. Otherwise, it's time to get out of the market. But like, send this shit higher. It's time.
It is indeed time, Max. It is time.
I'm hearing something. I know Tucker mentioned the Microsoft outage this morning, but I'm hearing like flights are canceled. I'm hearing banks can't access stuff. I'm hearing
I saw that.
like I'm hearing of all we're having massive outages. I don't know what the deal with that is, but that's kind of breaking news as we're live here.
Louis, the worst consequence was I couldn't log into my Xbox for 2 hours last night. So
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be okay. But that was probably the worst of it. No, but it was CrowdStrike. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yep.
Look at that. Yeah, they gapped it down, and now they're getting squeezed a little bit. But yeah, I think they were the problem.
No, they turned it off, bro. Someone needed a nice entry, so
yeah, that could be. I mean,
study Bitcoin.
Yeah, super sniper, man.
Some hedge fund needed an entry down there. They needed to get their bids filled, so they turned it off for a little bit, and we're back. All good.
They went and cut the lines overnight. Study billions.
Study this.
Study the Haggard super sniper.
Yes.
Or is that the 15-minute destroyer?
They're actually the same thing now. But
okay. You've merged them into one super algo?
Yeah. This is the 15-minute destroyer. I actually turned off the cell signal, but
I love it.
We're gonna keep it off.
Only buying.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. This looks so good though.
You got volume too. This move's got volume behind it. You like drop down to the 1 hour.
I mean, look at the RSI here. I know you guys can't read this, but it's bullish. But look at the RSI. I mean, this little action right here. I like that. I like that a lot. And then the other thing, I put this in the Discord the other day. I was like, okay, so we need log. We need log for this one. I'll admit.
Ooh, a log enjoyer.
So you've got weekly RSI bouncing off the 50 with price above 65K.
Study.
Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to compare it to literally any of these bounces, most likely.
And look at like 2020, right? Mid-year, right before the pump began. How we kind of like, right there.
This.
Yeah.
Like, I know we already got this, and that's like a little bit scary from like if you just don't even look at it very much, just like a once over, you're like, oh wow, we already hit 90, whatever. But I mean, I'd say it's more comparable. Maybe it is more comparable to June or something, but you didn't really get a good bounce here. You just kind of nuked all the way down. So, I mean, obviously the bearish case would be like you're right here or some shit, but I'm not buying it. So I think weekly RSI reset above 65K is unwaveringly bullish. So I don't know, man.
It's stupid bullish, man. It's stupid bullish. Like that, we're running the NVIDIA fractal. Like I've been screaming about this. Like I'm pretty convicted that Bitcoin has been lagging mega cap tech by about 200 days. I've presented the evidence, and I'll happily do it again here in the show. But we have been lagging mega cap tech historically by 200 days, give or take. We're right on schedule to complete the NVIDIA fractal. Like, I think I might still have it saved up here. Hold up. There it is. Hang on. Look at this. Like, this is what we're doing. This is, in my opinion, what we're doing. It played all throughout the bear market. It played in the accumulation of the bear market. It played on the breakout. We've had a similar kind of gap up. Bitcoin's was catalyzed by the ETF pump with some inefficiencies. NVIDIA's was an earnings gap up. And they both had kind of these similar, like, traders kind of got blue balled a little bit, where there were some obvious technical levels that just didn't get hit. Bitcoin's was like 52. A lot of traders wanted that. NVIDIA, here I kind of hit it by putting the weekly on here, but like, look at the gap fill. Like, everybody wanted this little gap fill right here on NVIDIA. Didn't get it, right? Just sent it higher. Gap fillers in shambles. So it's like I see absolutely like unbelievable similarities here. And again, from a timing perspective, like here, let me what's the best way to show this here? I'll show you right here what I'm talking about. We'll put the NASDAQ up top. We'll have to put it in log mode just so you guys can see it. So here's the NASDAQ in log mode. All right. And we're going to put Bitcoin down below. So keep in mind that fractal. I'll go back to it. Like, it is playing out. I will be vindicated. I will be vindicated on my NVIDIA fractal. So let's look at Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ. I want to show you guys from a cycle perspective how Bitcoin typically lags the NASDAQ and by how much. So we'll put Bitcoin in orange right here. And guys, while I'm doing this, do me a solid. Perhaps consider liking the stream if you like the stream, right? Really helps the channel. Really helps us grow. All right. So there's some turbulence. Perfect. There's Bitcoin. I'm marking out all the all-time highs, okay? After turbulence and big pullbacks for equities and for crypto, I'm marking out what happens when we finally get back above. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to mark out when the NASDAQ went into price discovery. We'll mark this out in blue. When the NASDAQ goes into price discovery is marked by a blue vertical line. All right. So NASDAQ, after a big pullback, goes into price discovery here. And I'm kind of rounding, right? It depends how you want to measure it, right? But this is when the NASDAQ, after garbage price action, has come back to go into price discovery. I'll put like the bear markets or like big corrective phases for the NASDAQ in red. Okay, so huge pullbacks for the NASDAQ. These don't look huge, they're big. We're talking about one of the largest indexes in the world. We're talking about the US economy, okay? And it's also in log mode, so it kind of warps it a little bit. Now with an orange vertical line, we're going to put when Bitcoin has gone into price discovery, okay? There's 2 cycles ago. Here's last cycle. Okay, we could, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of rounding, right? But you get the point. So let's take a measured move, right? 2 cycles ago, it was about 211 days that the NASDAQ went into price discovery before Bitcoin. How about the previous cycle? 175. And if you want to measure it from like when it really broke through, 196. But you get the point, right? Where are we at right now? NASDAQ went into price discovery first. And again, kind of depends where you want to measure it from. We're at about 210 days conservatively, right? And you could massage it a little bit and say this was technically when, so 188. But point being is it's around that 200-day point. So where did our 200 days go? This is the difference in the fractal, Bitcoin versus NVIDIA. You have the juggernaut of crypto being Bitcoin, and you have the juggernaut of the NASDAQ, US stock market, US economy, NVIDIA. We wasted 200 days. So it's like you go over here and you say, oh, well, why are we lagging by 200 days? Where did our 200 days go? This is where they went right here. Take a look at them. It's real clear. I think the fractal is going to play. And if I'm correct on this, and this is where our 200 days went, then we're right here. We're basically in like middle of November for NVIDIA. That's it. I'm done.
Max, you know what else is lagging behind by about 200 days?
I'm afraid to hear your answer, but go ahead.
The like button.
Oh, man.
Come on,
Guys, what's going on? I know it's a Friday, but come on now. It's bearish. This is it.
100 likes, 200.
We can do way better than that, guys. Come on.
Come on.
Tucker, can you pull the soybeans up, bro?
Wow. Quick, earliest soybeans I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a real quick soybean turnaround, dude. I don't. Oh
I mean, come on.
God.
It's a Friday. We've been cooking all week. We got a great panel for you guys today. The least you can do.
Market's pumping.
Like button for us. Yeah, exactly.
Guys,
like, come on.
If you're enjoying the content, all that we request, we're here for free. All that we request is that you take one moment out of your busy schedule, one moment out of your market check enjoying, and hit that thumbs up button. Guys, it really does wonders for the channel. We wouldn't request it if it didn't make a huge difference, but the mega cap tech overlords dictate that we need likes in order to grow the channel. I wish it wasn't so, but unfortunately it is. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you want to support the BB crew, if you want to support Market Check, do us a solid. Take one moment, hit that thumbs up button, guys. Seriously, it helps so much. And again, thank you guys for being here. Additionally, if you're watching this on X, it's real easy. You can hit that heart button on X. You're already logged in. On top of that, you have a super secret special function that the YouTube crew doesn't have. You guys can hit the retweet button. All right. A retweet is like 5 likes in one. Do us a solid. If you're enjoying it on X, hit that heart button. Also, hit that retweet button. Help share the content. Help spread that good word. We're educating. We're teaching. We're having a good time. The show deserves some visibility. So, guys, do us a solid. Like, subscribe if you're new. Share it with a friend. Retweet. Post it on Reddit. Build a website of BB fan page and stream it to your own website. Do whatever you have to do, guys. Help support the BB crew. And again, thanks so much for being here. All right, let's see how we're doing on likes, guys. All right, not bad. Not a bad turnaround. Let's get back to the show. Let's get
Max
back to
was
the
like,
show.
it's also tiresome asking for the like. Like, I do not want to do this, guys. Just press the like button so I can continue cooking.
Yeah, it's painful, man. Tucker, where'd your
told him
chart go?
yesterday I was going to be on him about it, so I had to continue that.
Who is this? Is this Tommy's screen?
No, this
That's
is
not
mine. This is mine. What do we think of this, right? Because I see, at first I was like, oh, wow, spot CBD's super bearish or whatever. But I mean, it's been down only forever, right? Like, you know, like I
Yes.
don't know how much, but then I look at it and I'm like, is this like a double bottom type of thing on spot CVD from like here to here? Like, I don't know. How are you guys interpreting this? Let me add this back on.
We have a bigger spot CVD coming in. It made sense to bounce on that level. I agree. I don't know if I think it's going to be a double bottom yet, just because, right? You look at the high time frame spot CVD and it's literally down only. So I kind of am just anticipating a small bounce off this into probably lower spot CVD, just because that's the trend. But if it is a double bottom, right, I think it speaks very favorably to where we're going. I think if that's the case, you really want to see the Coinbase premium that we had on like Tether and Binance from a few days ago to return. And I think that would be a very positive signal of that if it did.
Yeah. Also, that top in spot CBD was the Schmiko top so far. And so it's like, I get that like this range we've been bleeding in spot, but like we were bleeding this whole time too, right? Like while we were going up. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Because obviously, just aggregated OI has been going up a lot too. So, and it looks more like price does, right?
So I will say some of the signal with like OI being so elevated is kind of mitigated by Athena and just what they do to ARB funding rates. I think they just kind of like naturally add open interest in order to ARB, or at least to like get yield off of the funding. So like, I don't know, like open interest, just because it hasn't closed, I will say it can be misleading because of Athena specifically. Like there's probably been more open interest closed up here than would indicate on here, but it's been like replaced by Athena essentially.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Max, what do you think?
I mean, straight up in a straight line, send it. I don't know. Like, I've been pretty clear. I feel like,
Well, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about all this?
yeah, I view that as spot is done selling and like we're good to go. Spot is there's a change of trend. Spot is done distributing and we are back inside the range with spot CVDs turning around. I mean, that's bullish. Like we should have sold off more here, in my opinion. Like with that amount of spot selling, we should have lost the range, but instead we're right at the middle of the range with spot CVD basically completely reset back from when we were down at like 40 something. So, I mean, that's bullish. I don't know. I'm extremely bullish. Like I am ridiculously, to a stupid degree, brain is off. Like I'll see you in a few months kind of bullish. I don't know how else to put it. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to hypothecate a bunch of like hypotheticals that would counter my bias. Like I view this as extremely bullish. I do. Like I genuinely do. I have not wavered on that, you know. Like I don't see that as bearish. I don't. I would say if somehow a giant seller re-enters the arena, then that changes things. But the data that I'm being presented with, I mean, bro, spot CVD is reset to January 1st levels and we're 20,000 points higher. How the hell is that bearish? Like I'm so bullish. My brain is off.
We have RSI on here too. Yeah. So like what we were just talking about, right? Like Jackus, I want to get your take here. Like you got a full reset.
I don't use the CVD at all. I think it's
Okay,
like
but
I have not found any edge to it.
RSI though, right? Like you have a full weekly RSI reset and the spot is reset. I know you don't use that, but
I don't particularly love spot CVD either because it's lied to me a few too many times.
all right, well, let's just
It's more actionable on lower time frames, I think. Like what caused the move?
I think so too. Yeah, probably like on lower time frames it could be, but not that much of a lower time frame trader, so I personally don't use it. But I've seen some people, producing some decent results. So like, I'm not neglecting it, but I just don't find the information good for any type of movement.
But how are you reading like this weekly RSI?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, right, like the weekly RSI and the market is in very good levels for being macro bullish. And I do think that we do remain macro bullish. And I said many times that there are just so many signs for us to be macro bullish. I just am still hesitant, like with this local pump, right? Like I still see some worrying signs that we could still sell off to 51K easily. But apart from that, and I think like locally, we are showing some decent strength. And if we can keep it up, then I would be more inclined to think that like the local bottom has been found. Or like the swing bottom, to put it in a better way. So I know that this time frame thing can be confusing because people just want to be either like, they want to be pro-Trump or pro-Biden, and everything they do is either good or bad. So people just love to think in absolutes. I love to think in like thinking what people say, debating the arguments, and not taking sides that much. So I know that's not very much popular.
Only
but
the SIF thinks in absolutes.
Popular doesn't make money in the markets in the long run. So as I always said, it's better to be perma bullish than perma bearish, like on the long side. But yeah, I do hope that that take is kind of clear, right? Like as I said.
Yeah,
being a high time frame.
Look at this, Max. Look at this, Max. You see how you can draw this like.
I think
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is how like when equities were really sending higher, BTC dropped, and now equities are dumping and BTC is going up. Pretty.
Yep.
And I love it. Like I would love if BTC just stays decorrelated forever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that is going to be the case. I think there'll always be some like time period when they get correlated, and there will be some periods when they get decorrelated. Right now, it's decorrelated, which is nice.
To me, it looks
And
like pure like capital rotation.
Trust me. Like if this market just sends from here, I'll do just extremely well and be happy, right? Like I'm positioned for the long side myself. I'm just like worried for the mid time frames, if that makes sense.
Study the seesaw effect.
What is that?
Equities and crypto. Study it. All right, I'm gonna pull up the other charts unless you guys want to.
I would say one thing, right? I want to add is that I would say that perma bears always get it wrong because they are always like looking for that doom scenario where like the world collapses, right? They are looking for that world ending.
Yeah.
But it never comes, right? Because the humanity always like comes up with a solution when things get tough. So they all and they are very vocal, like right. They are super vocal when things start to break down, but then the humanity comes with a rescue. So I wouldn't at all like position on their side, especially when we live in an inflationary world where things just go up over a long enough period of time. And by the way, perma bears, they will always like call for a crash, and they will just keep calling for it, and after 5 years, that there is the like the thing is that you're only as good as your last call, right? And I've seen this. So you'll get lots of people that are bearish, and they'll say like at 10K it dumps, at 20K it dumps, at 30K it dumps, and they just keep getting laughed at, right? But then they will say it, for example, at like 60K, and then it works, and people will go, oh my god, he called this. No, he didn't. And the same thing goes for bulls in lots of scenarios too, right? And the problem with lots of bulls is that they will end up perma holding because they will not trust any move down. And when there is an actual cycle top, they'll think of it like, hey, it's just another fake, and they will hold through the complacency bonds. They will not sell, they will not hedge, and they will end up round tripping all their soul. I mean, how many people have we heard that they round trip sold from the last cycle back to $9?
Man, how do you round trip like a 20?
Millions.
On a
Millions.
major.
They round trip millions. And I know for a fact that probably more than 90% people will do the same, right? So I've been in the markets for 10 years, man. So I've experienced quite a lot. And I know the way to position and survive on the long run, because anyone can get lucky for a year or two, but surviving long term, that's tough. So yeah. Anyways,
Are you guys getting noise from somewhere? I don't know. I keep hearing like a bring.
But locally, Max,
You're
locally,
going crazy.
right? Tucker, just to fully explain myself, hopefully, and I would assume it would be quite obvious by now. But again, locally, like if you stay on this chart, right? So the daily H4, the trend is clearly bullish there, and like if it holds up, if it manages to keep its strengths, then you would tend to think that's enough and we should be finally pumping higher. I see that, equal highest liquidity at 71.5K. I was calling for that resistance before we went there, that it's a range high, and there is a good chance for rejection there. That said, as I said, this little pump isn't feeling as much convincing yet for me, and I'm still seeing worrying signs, and I wouldn't be at all confident just yet that this is it. I do see the reasons for it, like how it could play out, right? Like, and in hindsight, we will look back and you'll say, hey, that was obvious. But what if it dumps here, right? Like, this can easily become a deviation, just like the level you have there, right? Like, it drops below and you have deviation and play, and you can easily attack 51. And it's not like we have not seen it. So I understand this is like a bit too much for someone that just want to press green button and be long, or someone that just wants to be a cheater because he thinks that everything is going to hell. But for those that like wanna hear logical explanations and seeing both sides of the story, well, for those I provide these explanations.
Yeah.
Where are you looking for downside, Jack? Is if we do roll over here, like, are you saying like we would roll back down to the lows that we made, or are you looking for like a liquidity fill? What are you looking for?
I think if we roll over and lose that support that Tucker has on the chart, right. And I think as long as we like hold 62K, we remain bullish, right? But if we do lose it, then I would assume that we sweep 51, because I do not think that it's going to hold us there. So this is really like the one to bid if you are bullish. If you are cautiously still bullish, maybe wait for a reaction there. And if we do see further strengths here, I think there would be no more reason to go down. So yeah, I still think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on. No,
I was saying I would agree. I would just say 62K, but then also right below that is range lows as well. So I feel like that would come up as and hold up as support as well. So I would say, below, if we lose 60K, then I would agree with your thesis. That's all I had to say, really. So maybe a little lower.
Per take.
Huh?
I think you got to lose the VWAP. I think you got to lose this and then this and then this, and then I'll be bearish.
I think if you're fully filling the CME gap, that's a pretty good invalidation. Like it's probably wrecked if you're fulfilling the CME gap, in my opinion. You shouldn't fill it.
It would be like this.
There's nothing bearish about this structure right here. Like as it currently sits, there's nothing bearish about it. Like you have to objectively look at this as a break above a previous high and a range reclaim. I'd say if you get down there, like, let's talk about it. I don't see a reason to spec a short right here. Like I don't. I would say if you lose that white line, like with conviction, underside retest, there's your short. You know what I mean? But like right here, you're just specking a short. Like I don't even see like a clear invalidation on it. Like that would, like something like that would be, and then you can put an invalidation at like 66, right?
Yeah. You'd have to.
I genuinely don't see like a clear short setup right here. Not that like you couldn't go down again, but it's like you're just kind of shorting in no man's land right here. Like it's at the midpoint of this range, without super clear invalidation. Like where are you going to put your invalidation? Like I don't even see it. Like your invalidation is like 3,000, 4,000 points higher. I feel like, like why would you even put it there though?
That's what's tricky about the spot we're in. And I was saying it this morning. We are in the middle of no man's land. We're in the middle of supply above and like demand below. And I feel like Bitcoin likes to put everybody in this position a lot. You know what I mean? Where it kind of just sits in between, and like bears are giving their case, bulls are giving their case, and then it's just freaking yeets one way or the other, and most people are left behind.
perfect verb. That's exactly what it does.
Literally. So we've seen it time and time again. It just Bitcoin. It just makes these moves, sits in the middle of no man's land, chops around, and chops people up who are trading lower time frames, and then it makes that move, and technical traders are sometimes left behind. You know what I mean? It's just what it's famous for doing. You know what I mean? And it's because it's still, for crypto, it's the highest market cap asset, but for assets compared to the world stage, it's still it's a high vol, low market cap asset. So that's what it's going to continue to do until it continues to grow as a market cap and as an asset class.
I still have no idea why people have the need to label me as bearish. Like this just shows that people are not able to logically think, because I'm like basically one of the biggest bulls you can find. And I've been bullish way earlier than anyone else during the cycle. I've helped so many people to flip around very quickly. And here I'm saying that I remain macro bullish. I think we go way higher. I say I have lots of positions that are exposed to the long side. I'm just calling for like local cautiousness still. And people just have the need to keep reminding me how bearish I am, how I'm going to get everything wrong, and so forth. And it's just like,
Jack,
dude,
who
am I trying to help here, man?
Nobody knows how you're feeling better than people that are not you. Okay. But like, guys, all we need, like, just close July monthly candle green equals send. It's as simple as that for me. Like, you get a strong July close. I can't wait until August. I can't wait.
That's real.
I feel like they're gonna keep chopping it a little bit. I don't really think we'll go down too much, but I could see them chopping it a little bit. But like, you close the month like that, oh man,
yeah,
that looks good, man. That looks really good.
Like that.
But we need that month
to still up here by the end of the month. There's no reason to be bearish on anything. And I'm going to point to the equity markets here. And I'm pivoting a bit on a day where crypto is pumping, but in equity markets, we do have this period of weakness until the end of July, where we don't have passive flows coming in to support large caps. We don't have or passive flows from things obviously like 401ks, all that good stuff. We don't have options flows coming in until I think the 1st or 2nd of August. So, I mean, this is the opportunity into Powell if there's going to be any bearish downside, it will be within the next 2 weeks. So contextually, if Bitcoin is, still a green monthly candle and still within the range by the end of the month, there is no reason to be bearish, because equity markets will chad higher if they haven't broken market structure to the downside by then. And thus, what reason do you have to be bearish on Bitcoin and crypto in that scenario?
Tell me. That monthly candle on SPX at 1.618 is just disgusting. I need that horse meme view.
I really thought the S&P would bounce today, man. I really did. I think Nvidia will bounce intraday, but
I think the outages are part of the sell pressure right now, to be honest.
It's that bull bid, man. It's sticky. It's like I've been saying.
I still remember how in October 2023, I kept fighting all the bears out there you can find, saying how equities are going to run to new all-time highs. Bitcoin is going to run to new all-time highs. And people were like, no, this can never happen. How could that happen when you have CPI so big and rates so high? Yeah. And then I was saying, right? this is going to come. You'll get equities at new all-time highs. You'll keep making fresh swing highs. People will start talk about soft landing. Then you'll start to get the rate cuts. People will think that it's super bullish. And guess what? That's the ideal scenario to get people from the sidelines to ape into the market right at the top. Well, I'm not sure. Like we discussed this, I think yesterday or the day before. Again, I said I think that SPX can easily make many swing highs higher. But
is that the COVID fractal?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the 1618s. Like I'm just playing around here. I'm just playing around. But
you pulled that from the COVID low?
I just did the same little fib range here.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't even know what would cause that sort of downside in equities. I'm pretty bearish equities locally, but that much, that's a lot.
If Trump got hit, really hit, that could have done it.
Yeah, this is the alternate reality where Trump got hit. Sure. Yeah.
We just switched timelines.
Yeah.
I'm pulling a Tommy on
Zoom
the chart.
out. Oh, man. Zoom out until it looks bullish.
We're good.
That 1618 though.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about all that. We're so let's look at it like this. All right. We topped last January, basically Q4 in January. We'll probably do the same thing this time around. We'll put in a local top after the election, and then Trump will drop interest rates and he'll print a bunch of money, and then we'll continue on, and then we'll just get high inflation again, and then the Fed will have to step in, and then it'll just be rinse and repeat of what we just saw. But yeah, there's no reason to get bearish. I know we're at the 1.618, but allow me to study log mode.
Max, what about the data I presented you when it comes to the inverted yield curve, unemployment trends, and so forth? Do you think that's not concerning, given how it played out every single time in the past?
No, I think it's extremely concerning, but I also think it's probably too early to be extremely concerned about it.
I mean, I agree with that. Like I said, right? I think it will take some time probably for SPX to rotate. And I said that in that time period, I think crypto is going to run.
Yeah. So I think as long as, it's not perfect every time, right? But I think you have to look at this and just go, all right, Fed pause is bullish. We typically don't sell off before that. Green line or green lines in that window. And then additionally in 2019 is a prime example that until things got really bad, we can continue to actually rally through the first couple 25 basis point cuts. That could take us out into 2025. There's other examples too, right? We can move back here, right? It just it doesn't happen so quickly, right? So it's like I think to try to front run that and just assume that.
I always said that rate pauses are bullish, right? That's what we discussed last year, and that has just played out to a T.
Yeah.
And I think rate cuts are bullish long term because you ease on the economy, but shorter term they are done because things are not okay.
Right. Yeah,
But as always, gotta follow the PA. I would also say that, using that example of COVID, right? So even if you sold at the first rate cut, yes, you would have to endure some, market going against you, but essentially you would ended up buying way lower than your sell. Like you would ended up buying, I don't know, like 20, 30% lower probably. Not sure
If you had the
what's that
balls
number
to
on
step in and
SPX.
buy that, if you had the nuts to do it, that's pretty scary. I don't know how many people would do that. I mean, I'm sure people would do it, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, like it would have made sense, right? So like let's look at the percentage. If you sold here on the day of the cut, right? Like we ended up rallying 15%. And then you could have bought from the point of the cut when you sold. Hypothetically, if you had the balls to step in and bid it, which that's a whole other discussion because that looks pretty freaky. Technically a 26% discount if you had caught the Pico bottom. You wouldn't go full port at the Pico bottom, right? But you would have gotten a discount. You would have gotten
But you wouldn't also like sell the Pico, right? So we always gotta look for the averages. Like that's what I say, right? When I was buying BTC around 20K in 2022, lots of people saw that that's just stupid. And you had to endure lots of months of very vocal bears like Capo, and there were lots of bearish stars back then. And looking back, it's quite obvious it was a great fucking buy, even though you could have bought at still 16K, right? Like you could have bought lower. But if you play the longer game of this, you bought at 20K and you're laughing because there were not that many people that bought 20K and held till now. So that's kind of that. You just sometimes gotta go.
It's the area. People are obsessed with taking the bottom to the top, and literally no one ever does that consistently, not even the best. So you gotta just think, okay, in this area, where prices are at a discount, we're likely near a bottom, start buying or DCAing. Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you were buying the lows of the bear market from around September 2022 all the way through 2023, you're sitting pretty right now on almost everything. It's like, but everyone at the lows they think of like extremes, like you were saying, Jackus. Like sadly, we live in a world where everyone thinks in extremes or absolutes. And it's like the famous Star Wars. It's like only the Sith thinks in absolutes. Like it's not the right way to look at things. You know what I mean? You got to look at things objectively from both sides and say, okay, can we go lower? Yes. But I'd rather buy here just in case if we don't. Like, nothing wrong with that. And just hold for a couple of years. That's basically what I did. I do TA every day because I do some trades and I like to follow the markets because I do this for fun. But, other than that, all I did is I'm just in a giant swing trade that started in September of 2022. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Louis, what I've noticed also as, there is lots of podcasts on the internet, lots of people with opinions, right? And sometimes you will get like a person that that usually gets lots of things wrong or not that much agreeable or something. But sometimes he will say something that actually makes sense. And then you have a guy that's like the opposite. You have a guy that's like the opposite party of that, right? And he will say, guys, what this guy is saying, he's saying that to his crowd, right? To his community. And he's saying this guy that we do not like and don't agree with, what he's saying here makes actually lots of sense. And he is saying that this argument, not like everything he says makes sense, but this argument he says makes sense. But what will happen is that his community will just say, you're fucking stupid for agreeing with him and going on his side. You just gotta be this way or this way. Only absolutes. Nothing in between. not debating the argument itself. You're just attacking the person, and that's what I feel from the world nowadays.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I like to say I think it was like one of my first streams. I think, or I was even a guest on this show, and I brought up a certain YouTuber, and someone commented like on Twitter or something like that, like, oh, he said that so and so drops alpha. Well, I mean, and I commented back. I was like, one, I'm not going to ridicule someone, in the public. That's not how I do business. And two, you could extract alpha from almost everybody if you know how to, like, everyone has a little bit of alpha or something to learn as long as you know how to extract it. But if you're going to be blinded by your biases, you're gonna miss out on a lot of knowledge and a lot of alpha from people. You know what I mean? You just got to be able to see through the nonsense and extract the good from the bad. And then people have a trouble doing that, sadly.
Well said.
Thanks.
What do you got here, Max? What do you got?
It's cooking.
What are you cooking?
That
I don't
would be a
know.
nasty
It's
drop.
not. I don't think a COVID fractal is going to happen. I just kind of overlaid it for fun, I guess. Yeah, we could probably remove that just so people don't freak out. But yeah, here we have the US 10-year minus the US 2-year. And I'm just kind of showing. I can keep the line chart on, I guess. That's fine. But we have the effective federal funds rate up here. The Fed pause is highlighted with both the in between the green vertical lines, and then when like the first cuts started to happen and obviously things started to sell off, happens a little bit after the pause, or at least the past two times the pause ends. Additionally, things have kind of gotten nasty, right? When you see the US 10-year minus the 2-year breaking above, like, I mean, it's kind of like a window, right? But just conservatively like 0.33%, right? So that's getting out a little bit early, right? Pretty close to the Pico Schmico. Basically like right in here, so it's got to break above 0 at least, right? So we're still inverted 26 basis points. So I would say when the US 10-year minus the 2-year breaks above the 0 line, and it's uninverted, then I would probably be more concerned. I actually think it's going to be healthier, and we kind of just maintain this state of delusion that nothing is going to go wrong ever. While we remain, if conditions just remain unchanged, then we're just going to keep going up, basically. So I think the best thing in the world is that the yield curve remains inverted heavily like it is. It takes another 6 months at least for it to at least just crack 0. I mean, ideally like 25 basis points or something like that. And then we're already into like 2 or 3 25 basis point cuts, and then we can de-risk, right? But I just going back to what Jack had asked me earlier, like, what do I think about it? I'm very much so. I'm acutely aware of it, and I've got my alerts set. But I still think it's early. Like, I still think we're like at minimum 4 months early, and at most maybe a year. Somehow they could kick the can down the road, if they're politically motivated enough. But yeah, until I see, and then we can add on unemployment, Jack. It's like, I think you did this yesterday already. But like, we want to see what we don't want to see this, right? But like, in order to get bearish, we would want to probably see unemployment probably closer to 5%, at least over 4.5%, I would say. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's still early. Like, give me 4.75% US unemployment, give me 225 basis point cuts, and give me the 10-year minus the 2-year uninverting over 0%, probably even a little bit more. And then we can talk about the top being in. I just feel like it's still early, and I'm assuming you agree, Jackus, but like, this is just kind of how I view the scenario you were outlining. I believe it was yesterday. So
yeah, the days definitely overlay. There is actually one, like, for people to try to imagine this one. If you can, do you see the chart?
yes, that's terrifying, but yes.
I really think like we are in a similar situation where we will be in the stagflation of the 70s right now. And like, given how commodities are rising, that's even more supportive of this idea. Back here, we also had basically like, you know, do you see this little one, and then you climb to new all-time highs, and then this sell-off, right? So like, maybe we are in this one. It doesn't really matter, right? The thing is that you have lots of like, just wanted to put this out that it's pretty imaginable to see something like this, and we've seen this like many times, you know, over the history, where like you keep rising, right, and then
Jack,
you get the
was QE as prevalent during that time? I don't think QE existed during that time period, right?
No,
and I think that's one material difference where I think that throws a bit of a wrench at it, because I don't think they would allow for something like, they'll just manipulate it to go up. They'll just print more money and manipulate interest rates lower. Like, I think you're right.
What about COVID then? Like, they already had QE and still they allowed this to happen. So like,
well, I think they wanted that to happen. That's the difference.
I think that's yeah, but why wouldn't they want this to happen again? Like, you know,
I mean, yeah,
they need someone to be buying the top. Like, they need a liquidity, right? They need to shake people out. I think the markets will remain markets, and just nothing is going to go up forever. And
no, I don't think it'll go up forever. I don't think it'll go up forever at all.
Well, flash crashes like COVID are almost bullish on a 1 to 2 year time horizon, right? Like, you get wrecked in like a 2 or 3 month span, but then everything goes ballistic because they're forced to continue to print money. And if it happened again, you'd have to imagine the exact same response is what's going to end up occurring.
Especially under a Trump presidency, man. Like, he even mentioned last night at the RNC, he was basically said he put me in a time machine, man. He went back and was talking about how well the stock market was doing under his presidency. I'm like, dude, I can see the writing on the wall. Like, something will break under a Trump presidency, and we're going to have a repeat of 2022, 2023, 2024. And it's just going to be the same shit over and over again. And he's going to literally go to war with his new version of J-Pow. He's going to be like, they're raising interest rates. Like, I should fire them. Like, the shit he's going to say is going to be wild.
Didn't he say he's going to keep Powell? I think I saw that.
Did he?
I actually think Powell's doing a pretty good job. Maybe I'm in the
no, he's done a great job. He's done a great job. J-Pow's kind of a Chad, honestly.
Yeah, he's a low-key Chad.
Yeah. I mean, so, I hope we don't enter a stagflationary period like that, Jack. Could you put US CPI down below that chart in the 70s so we could see what inflation was at?
How many years of sideways was that?
Like a decade.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's called the last decade.
Wow.
But frankly speaking, I really do not see, like, why wouldn't that be the case? Like, back then, the inflation was an issue too. Nowadays, it's issue too, and there is lots of similarities like that, which I could go on forever. But let's put on the no, not the CPI. Right? What is the ticker? You guys remember?
USIRR or something like that.
Yeah,
is the U.S. inflation rate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, US. IRE.
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, that's terrifying. And it's terrifying because I could see that happening, especially if Trump gets into office and just, like, you know, undoes everything Powell was working to do for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like that would happen. That would happen. That would be terrifying, right? So like a little bit of inflation's good, but not this much, you know.
Yeah. So I don't even know at what period we are. I suppose it's gotta be taken more. Like, I wouldn't go one-to-one fractal wise with that, right? But what I'm trying to say is that the inflation was going up in little waves. I think we had the first wave. I think we might going to get the second at some point later on, right? But rather than like the inflation talk, I would want to mention that after COVID, right, the American folks had they had a record amount of money on their savings. They had like 2.5 trillion. And all of that was going straight into the markets. But nowadays, their savings are below zero from that COVID time. And so all the savings are gone. But now the debt that the US holds, like even from regular people on credit card loans, and you guys know this, you can check the stats, is on a record amount. And that's just not a good sign, right? That's telling you like who is going to keep propelling this one up. And I do think that let me actually put this in log mode. And like we had basically a decade, more than a decade, it's been like 15 years of kind of up only market. And in this up only market, everyone who was passively managing portfolios has outperformed anyone that was actively managing portfolios. And it kind of became like a take to just hodl even stocks and not trade, right? But this is different during periods like this, where by the end of it, they will tell you, hey, it's not good to hodl. You gotta actively trade this. And then that's a reverse of this, 15-year, 10-year cycles. And what I do think is that from here, we have basically entered this period where lots of people that have been in the stock market in here will just, and they will keep on hodling through it. Oh, now it shows, yeah, I was like, why is it not showing, man? So listen, Americans saved up and spent their pandemic windfalls and had okay, so it was 2.1 trillion, right? And now it's back below the zero line. So everywhere I look at, it's pretty worrying. Not to mention, like, that was my plan from right here. But as you said, Max, I do not think this like plays out in the next like a day or something, or week or months. Like, this will take some time to unfold. And even if, let's say, we are maybe here or here, whatever, right, where we are, I still think that you like have time. Let's say we are even at the top, right? That still gives approximately like 300 days. And that's still my bullish take for crypto, where it can do well in this time period. Obviously, locally, like mid time frame, we can, again, as I said, drop to 51. If it's to come, it can come within like 2 weeks. And then by the end of the month, we can be back to highs, right? That can come quickly. But I think that the bells are ringing here. And I do not even think that there is a good risk to reward ratio to just be like long here, right? Like, you always gotta ask yourself, would you be long right here? Would you go long? And if not, then I don't know. I think
credit is worrying. That's a bit worrying, like you said. Like, debt's at all-time highs. Savings are at all-time lows. That is a bit worrying. So where's the money going to come from? Unless like the upper to middle class from just money made in assets, whether it's real estate, stock market, can keep the rest of the economy afloat. You know what I mean? Because there is a sector of the population that is doing well, but the lower half is not doing well. So can that middle sector keep everything afloat? Asset appreciation.
It's doing well.
Do you know
Bitcoin? We're pumping 66.
What?
Nice. Let's go.
And
Pull it off.
Jack is just to add something onto this. You said, would you be long here? Well, you've left out one part of this thesis, which you first presented to me like a year ago when we first met. It depends what you want to be long here. Would you be long commodities here, Chef Jackus? Because maybe you don't like equities here. So there is always a bull market somewhere, right? Maybe
That's true. That's true.
TLT
Yeah,
bull market.
the TLT bull
TLT,
market.
yeah. TLT probably unironically is like the best hedge, truly.
I want to go off the chart and just wanted to say one last thing, that when did the liquidity always came in, right? It always came in after the drop, never at the top. So like here you had also, after the dot-com bubble, you had sort of a bull market, but the liquidity from the Fed, when they announced that they're going to buy everything and support it, came in right here. When did it came during COVID, after the drop, right? They said that they will just buy everything, and this is what happened. So I think that the big liquidity that we are anticipating, which is going to come in, and yes, they will always keep on printing, they'll always keep on QE. That's how the system is designed. But I think it comes after like one of this. Anyways, enough from me.
Wait, hold on, Jack. It's all right. I gotta take this, man. I gotta take this. So I want to need you guys to
Boys, we're pumping.
study something real quick.
Easy, Tucker. Easy, Tucker.
Everybody's right, okay? Everybody's right. Jack,
Dude, I would
no,
love
bro.
hysterically if that
I
happens.
can't allow you. I can't allow you to do that.
you and I are right, Max, and so are Jackus and Tommy. Look, everybody's right. Everybody's
No,
right.
listen.
We can
at that
all
point, I
agree that
wouldn't
that's
be.
wrong. Okay, we're going straight up in a straight line, Tucker. Don't you dare get bearish propaganda on me, bro.
To 85K, and then we rinse everyone right at the election. This is actually kind of scary because it actually does fit. Really
I could kind of see that actually right at November, like the election, and then we just vertical.
I mean, if it happens quick, who cares?
Yeah, I don't even care because look where the fractal, like it just goes up. Like I don't really.
You just gotta hold through that, really.
Yeah. So let me clean it up a little, but like it actually does fit pretty well.
That would just be funny, man. That would just be so funny. But I mean, I don't. The only thing I have with this is I just think the timing of the next 2 weeks is kind of like perfect for some downside in markets. And I'm going to point again to NVIDIA, which I think is breaking parabolic market structure as we speak. Even though I said it's going to bounce into the end of the day, I still think that's true. But yeah, I think NVIDIA is set up for downside. So I would feel more likely it would occur in 2 weeks rather than in October and November. But I would laugh pretty damn hard.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine if we just drifted up into the election and then boom?
I feel like that's a Trump loses fractal.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I know. But then for some reason we just go to 130K by June.
Can you guys go with the fact that Kamala Harris would be our president?
No, bro, it's
happen.
over.
That'll never happen.
Louis, you got some charts for us, man?
Yeah.
I see you working in the background.
I got Bitcoin pressing the mid-range once again here. We got rejected here the first time. If we can get back above here again, which we probably will since we're coming and testing it again, I think we're coming to range highs, aka 70K, 71K, and go for that break.
Louis, do you think that ETH is just waiting for Bitcoin to flip that mid-range before catching up a little bit?
ETH's been acting weird, man. Like especially with like the ETH Foundation selling. Now I'm seeing things about like the not GBTC, but the Grayscale ETH ETF. How like they're keeping their prices the same as they did with the Bitcoin. So are we going to see a crap ton of outflows from Grayscale ETH ETF into other ETFs, and is that going to cause like a smaller time frame like pullback for ETH? I don't know, but it's definitely been showing a little weakness. But I mean, it still looks decent. The chart itself looks okay, but those are a couple of things that have been like a little worrying for me. But I mean, ETH still looks good here. We're basically in the middle of supply and demand right now. We're in the middle of no man's land. If we can get back above this key supply above here, we're going to see the yearly highs of around $4,000. Basically all-time high. So, and that's where we're at.
ETH feels like it's trying to chew through supply right now, man.
It does feel slightly heavy than it should. Like ETH was strong coming out of the lows, And it looks like somewhere along the line when we hit this kind of intermediate peak here, it seems as if it has some selling, which is strange. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with the ETF. If it's similar to what happened to Bitcoin, what, dropped 10 to 12% or something like that after the ETF launch due to those grayscale outflows. But I'm also seeing that Grayscale is also applying for a mini ETH ETF, which would actually, and they would just be able to transfer it from their original to the mini ETH ETF, and they wouldn't have to sell. So if that's the case, that could probably save us from some downside for ETH. But I mean, as far as the chart goes, it still looks strong, and it's got to make a decision here. And if it does, if it's going to be following Bitcoin, we're going to see something like this, getting it back above this key supply, flip it into demand, and go for the yearly highs. That's really what I'm watching.
If we can just get ETH above 35.20, I feel like it teleports to like 37.50.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why
I agree, and that's been my take for a long time too.
Why are you so bearish, Jackus? You called out a level. Why are you so bearish? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this looks. I mean, it looks good.
You're a perma bear.
What else? Oh, we got Pepe moving here.
Ooh,
Pepe looks good.
Go. Oh, Sol 170. Come on,
dude. Sol's getting ready, man. We need Sol though. We need it. We really.
If we flip this, we're gonna see basically all-time highs for Pepe, at least back to old all-time highs. If you could flip this level, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, have a little supply here, but Pepe still looks good. Still looks good. Crypto looks good. I mean, I really think we're seeing like a capital rotation here from large cap legacy to low cap legacy, like we've seen in the Russell the past couple days. I think that was a very clear signal. And now with crypto, I really think we're seeing that push down the risk curve, and people are getting more and more riskier with their investments. And like I've been saying for the past year and a half, it's like you're at a casino. People are up big money now. What are you going to do? You're just going to walk away? No, they're going to be greedy, and they're going to keep taking that house money and put it on more riskier bets, riskier investments. That's how the
human nature, right, Louis? It's human nature.
That's why you can't bet. Like if you're completely bearish, like, and you think markets are going to zero, you don't understand human nature and human greed. You know what I mean? It's always going to be there. And that's how you have to view markets in that lens as well.
And you don't understand Keynesian economy.
I just sent Tucker and Max the most like insanely bullish NASDAQ fractal ever. That, I mean, I just wanted to say that.
Share it on Market Check then.
Come on, Tommy.
All right.
Oh, wow.
You guys were looking at the like the SPOOs and NASDAQ monthly chart. And I was just thinking, like, damn, that looks like it's about to enter a parabola. And it's been in one, it seems like. But when you kind of scale it to to past, like, this is the NASDAQ back in the tech bubble, man. I mean, imagine if we did some shit like this.
Is that 80,000? What?
Dude. Study profound mental illness.
Study David Hunter.
I mean, this is literally just what the NASDAQ did back here.
That is the melt up, bro. No, that's higher than David Hunter wants. I think he wanted like 30,000. Imagine if David Hunter is wrong by 100%.
Like this, man.
David,
I could go with that because, like, you see that drop right before the bull market. Like, that's a good one right there.
Probably if we did some shit like that, but like, I mean, you make so much money in here. Like, this is the golden bull run right here. Or is it? Do we have a banana?
Roaring 20s. They're back.
Dude, imagine thinking we were in a bubble right now if that happens. Oh my gosh.
That's like what Koosh says, right?
No, I think that exceeds what Koosh thinks, bro. I think this is the highest target I've ever seen of anybody.
I just massaged it, and I'm sharing it with you guys because I was just looking at the price action the NASDAQ has been pulling in. We can get more granular than that now that we have the most ridiculous fractal out of the way. But
I know that's
like
in the end of the year, though, right?
progressively
This is
more
what-
parabolic. The only thing that's kind of left is
Okay, here's why that could make sense, right? So what does that bubble represent? That represents the adoption and the speculation around a new technology, which was the internet, right? So what is that technology right now, right? Arguably it's AI, maybe crypto to a degree, right? But that bubble right there is speculative fervor surrounding a new technology and not knowing how to price it. So if we're in an environment right now where investors believe there is a new technology that could rival that of the internet in adoption and how it affects our economy and our day to day, maybe it's AI, maybe it's not. I'm just trying to justify how this fractal could play.
man.
Then, in fact, you would get a speculative bubble comparable to that of what you saw between 1996 and 2003 for internet companies, right? And again, I'm adding on another layer to Tommy's, kind of obscene fractal, right? But that's what it would be. That's what it would take, right? Because that's what the
Oh, it's
bubble.
absolutely obscene.
There it is, Tommy. There she is. That's
Yeah, absolutely obscene.
Study.
study that. Yeah.
I like it.
Man.
Those drops are not okay though.
Right into high time frame demand though. That's where I buy.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, that would be a nice retest, honestly.
Man,
Bring
man.
it.
I just wanted to share that.
Bring it, Jack.
Tommy, what do you think about this comment right here? From
No. I mean, it's like I said a few minutes ago, man. I mean, I've my targets for the next like 6 or 7 years are probably higher than just about anybody, but everybody wants to call me this like big bad bear right now. So I mean, I'm just talking how I'm seeing the markets, guys.
People don't want to hear this. They just want to see the arrow pointing upwards.
Yes, study arrows up. Study arrows up.
Study this weekly chart. Oh my god.
Louis Tuesday. That's a nice chart.
Give me this all day. Meat stick. Gabagool.
Tucker, what did you say this morning? You were like, give me that Louis Tuesday Italian meat stick candle.
Whoa, pause.
Yeah, Tucker said that, bro. And now I just said it. You're getting it, though. Look at that thing.
Look at that.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this is completely engulfed this July 4th down candle. Just completely engulfed.
All right, I need to steal the chart again. I'm taking it. I'm aggressively stealing it. If I see anybody fudding Caspa in the comments, I'm canceling the show and I'm shutting down because Bitcoin. All right, guys, you're not allowed to FUD this chart. Look at this chart.
What's Caspa?
Who just said that? Who just said that? I mean, look at this chart, guys. We have vertical accumulation above the range high. Like we're coiled right here.
I have a nice Caspa chart too.
Looks like IWM, bro. It's IWM.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like it's about to go over $1 is what it looks like. This thing looks so good. Somebody had a question about my tweet earlier, which I would like to get into at some point. So I just wanted to show Casper real quick. It was.
I think we had a super chat too.
So this is about ETH and ETH beta. Okay. So somebody had asked me to explain this a little bit. So obviously you guys know I'm really into the boys club narrative. Started with Pepe, worked its way down to Brett and Andy, and now Wolf has been a recent addition given how it's trading. But here is whether it's my trade here with ETH and ETH beta around the boys club or it's Sol and Sol beta. This is in my opinion, a really clear representation of how alpha and beta relationships work in crypto. So obviously ETH put in its high over here, end of May. And after that, you can see Pepe as ETH beta, large cap. It was, at the time, probably like 5 or maybe 6 billion. It went down 55%, right? And I marked out Pepe's top on the Andy chart, which is, again, moving further down the risk curve. It's more juiced beta. Pepe put in its top, and then Andy put in its top later, okay? Then Andy went down 75%. Now Wolf, which is beta to Andy, which is beta to Pepe, Wolf put in its top marked by this purple dot. So Wolf put in its top way over here, which was after Andy and after Pepe. And again, you can see here on all three charts how much later, in fact, it was, right? So when you start to see like juiced beta outperforming that of their alpha, that's typically a good risk off sign. And it works both ways, right? So Pepe goes down 55%, 75% for Andy, 80% for Wolf. And look at the formation of the bottom. Pepe puts in a bottom first, just like it put in a top first. Then Andy put in a bottom second, just like it put in a top second. Wolf put in a top third, or a bottom third, just like it put in its top third. And again, look at the relationship of how they're moving off of the lows. Pepe up 70%, Andy up 170, Wolf up 255, right? So it's all coming at the same time that ETH starts to recover. Similarly to the sell-off happens when ETH starts to bleed. So this is a representation of how I am personally kind of stacking beta to Ethereum. And additionally, if you're looking to take profits down the road, pretty solid signs. Like if you start to see like Pepe distributing, or let's start with ETH. If you start to see ETH distributing, but you have ETH beta rallying, continuing to ignore it, typically that's kind of a risk off sign, right? As shown by this chart, you can clearly see what happened here. So anyways, that was my further explanation, but that's how beta works. That's what you should be looking out for. Bullish on all of them though. Study.
We have 2 super chats from the same guy. I don't know if you want to take a look at those.
Yeah, man, I'm bullish Mog. I don't know if anybody here owns Mog, but I'm super bullish Mog. It's really good ETH beta. I don't have a position though. I don't have any money left to bid it, unfortunately, but it does look good.
I wish Will was on here to talk about Mog, man.
Yeah, Will called that really early, man. That's kind of
talk about the Mog on Sol.
Yeah, that's true. Will was buying Mog like down here, man.
Dude, I bought Mog in the same time I had that massive bag of whiff in like early January, and I fumbled the crap out of Mog, man.
Yeah, we all fumbled PopCat really bad, Tommy.
Yeah.
I had so much PopCat, so low. We both did.
20 million, I think it was, or lower.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, it was like 16 mil. We were deep in PopCat.
Dude, there was somebody in my Discord. It's pretty cool, actually. He, I guess somebody in my Discord shielded it like under 5 or 6 million, and he aped it and didn't do anything else. Like he was just completely out of crypto and aped PopCat randomly, and it was a 7-figure trade for him.
Wow.
And he's like, he barely had to spend any time in crypto. All he did was nail the top of, or like nail selling the top of PopCat and nailed buying the bottom like an absolute Chad.
On any given day, Tommy. On any given day.
Honestly. Best market in the world.
Truly. That's what drew me into it, man, is like you can get destroyed, but also if you can figure it out and you can combine timing, analysis, and a little bit of luck, there's no better market or window of time for a young man to get ahead in life financially than being in crypto. But it comes with a lot of emotions and it's very difficult. But
preach, brother. Preach.
Yeah. That's why we're all here, right? I mean, it's fun, right? It's a puzzle, but it's the opportunity. There's no better risk to reward in any market out there, nothing.
Goodness gracious, guys. Goodness gracious.
Boys, we're pumping.
Study the volume breakout. That's what I was drawing over here.
Yeah.
It's obviously different, but study the flip of a level plus volume.
Oh, yeah.
Based.
Dude, ETH is about to chew through 3,500, and I think it's just going to do one of those ETH gap up candles where it's like 100 points in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's going.
The famous ETH pop where it just somebody's liquidation's at like 36.20 and it's just about to absolutely annihilate them. Somebody's up there.
Oh, there's some shorts. There's some shorts that are getting squeezed right now. Some people decide to come back to Twitter thinking they're all cool. I bet they're getting squeezed.
Someone's getting squeezed, man. That is, if we can get a pop up here, man, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be
really
quick.
Up here, man.
Yeah. You know those famous ETH candles I'm talking about where it's literally 100 points in 5 minutes or less. And it like gaps up on the chart. It's so quick.
Oh my God.
I think my favorite ETH candle ever was still the one. It was in the lead up to the merge, actually. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like on a random Saturday. We had a 300-point candle in like an hour.
Was it 20 22. When was the merge?
It was then. That was the merge right there. It was the literal top.
Yeah.
But off that bottom, there was a Saturday, I think it was, where we just had a huge fuck you candle to the upside. And I remember like a fund got blown out on that candle. It might have been the one to take it from like 1300 into like 1600.
Yeah.
ETH
Yeah.
has taken
Or a little
many,
bit
many
before that.
lives. ETH has destroyed some lives for sure. No question about it, man. Like
Both directions.
yes, both directions. Both directions.
Study Suzu.
Honestly, man, it's better to just hold spot ETH. ETH is one that I just don't really mess with on leverage, and I don't trade. I haven't traded leverage in a long time, but like it's predatory, man. Like you feel like it just is out to get you. Like I don't know. Everyone has a crazy story trading ETH. I promise you. Everybody that's been in crypto.
Yeah. Both directions. Crazy stories.
Yeah.
My best trade on ETH was in before COVID, actually. When I went long in what was it? January 2020, and I had like a 40-hour long on that. I was kind of ape still back then.
That's unreal. 40R is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you risked $1 million, so you made 40 million on that. That's pretty crazy.
I wish. I made really good amounts of money then, because like I risked 2% per that trade, and that was crazy. Like sorry,
so you made
2% per that stop loss.
So you made 80% on your portfolio on that one trade.
Yes.
Wow.
With like insanely minimal risk.
That's awesome.
Just before the bull market.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, we have been going for about an hour and a half. Anybody have any last words before we call it?
I don't. Should be a great weekend.
All right, Tommy. Tell us about the altcoin pump this weekend.
I'll let him do it.
Oh, no.
Oh my. His Excellency.
His Excellency. But yeah, no, that was a great show, guys. We cooked a bunch of alpha for you guys all week. So if you, I was looking at the like button a few minutes ago, or at least like 20 minutes ago, and it looked like we had about 75 to 80% of the live viewers liking the video. So I'm not gonna nag you guys to hit the like button, but if you would be so kind and you haven't already, it means a lot to us as a team. And of course, we love to run that like button up. We had a great week of alpha cooking. Like I said, is that my VP in the background? No, we don't know what role he plays in my story yet. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, finishing off the week strong, man. Great show, guys. But I don't want to yap for too long. I want to get into the housekeeping to end the show, guys. We have launched our brand new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. We are so excited, not just that we can bring this to you guys, or not just that we can, trade it ourselves, but also that we can bring it to you guys, the community, and possibly even give you the opportunity to participate, right, through potentially being an LP or an accredited investor. If that is something that interests you, we do have more information linked in the description of this video below. But just a general overview of the fund, right? It is run by the BB team, and it operates in a way to capture the asymmetric history of upside returns of crypto while also managing the investment risk posed in any market. So like I said, if that interests you, we do have more information linked in the description below. Also with BB Academy, guys, if we are headed into a bull run, there is no better educational course on this market to be picking up at the end of the day, right? You get to learn from everyone on the team, and obviously all of our very unique styles. We all specialize in very different things, and I think that comes across in the course, right? Like you want to be learning these specific things from people who specialize in them, and I can promise you that not every course can say that. So definitely recommend, if you're looking to hone your educational base, build your continue to build up your own education if you already have a base to work off of. And it really is, like I said, I would be surprised if there's a better course on the market than that. So to get to our programming, if you enjoyed Market Check, we will be back Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is our typical start time. We are live Monday through Friday. Really, every day the New York Stock Exchange is trading, you can expect to see our beautiful faces, or ugly faces if you hate us, in the morning.
Relax, bro. It's fine.
Hey, I mean, hey, I'm probably ugly right now because I'm a bear, but you guys are beautiful, right? And if you're a bear, you view it the opposite, I'm sure. But no, we're just having fun here, and ultimately that's what we do on these shows, guys. We can get into some heated discussions, but like I said, at the end of the day, we love to cook for you guys, and we love to talk markets. So make sure to tune in next week. I am assuming the next 2 weeks are going to be very eventful, so we're going to have some great shows for you. Not to forget Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi. That is live in the afternoon at, well, the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, with times that can typically vary. So just make sure to stay subscribed and following our Twitter so you can be notified when Wabi goes live. He has had some fantastic guests on this week, and as always, some very compelling conversation. But that is it from us, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Friday, a great weekend. Hopefully get outside, spend some time with your family, whatever you need to unwind and relax before the big weeks ahead. But that is it from me. That is it from us. And yeah, y'all have a great weekend and stay safe. Thanks again.